Hello and welcome to the Jordan Powers Experience. My name is Jordan Powers, and on today's episode, I am joined by the one, the only Mat Trewhit. Matt is a hip-hop artist based out of Vancouver, BC. He grew up here in Kelowna, BC, and honestly, I consider him one of the dudes that's kind of paving the way for the local hip-hop and, independent artist scene. He's one of the first guys I ever filmed at like a live show. All around amazing talent, was playing live shows here in the summer, and in today's episode, we talk about his life in Kelowna and growing up in kind of the hip-hop scene, him moving up to Vancouver, and we also get into a time where he had a run-in with the RCMP over a public show that he was doing, so I think that's a super interesting story to tune into at the end of the whole podcast. But today's episode is brought to you by my usual supporters, starting with Open Cannabis. Open Cannabis is a local cannabis brand that specializes in organic, high THC products. They're now officially in BC licensed cannabis stores, so make sure you go and check them out. Ask for Open Smoke 'em or Open Discover. And my second sponsor is Garnish Barware. Garnish Barware is trusted behind some of Canada's busiest bars. They're all custom engraved cocktail kits done here locally in Kelowna, BC by my man Griffin. You get a whole bunch of different designs done on like cocktail kits or flasks. Constantly coming up with new products. Make sure you check out www.garnish.com. www.garnishbarware.com. And without wasting any more time, enjoy my podcast episode with Mat Trewhit. All right, ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Mat Trewhit.
Mat Trewhit, that's it.
Did I nail it?
You did.
Okay, good, man. How you doing?
Good, dude.
Yeah?
I'm great. Yeah.
Living the dream?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. Welcome to the Jordan Powers Experience. And I'm stoked to have you here because we've been chatting online a little bit. I know you from back in the day. Actually, one of the first hip-hop kind of concert videos I ever created was when you were headlining for an after-hours show.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That was like... What was that, like 6 years ago or something?
Yeah,
like,
something probably 5 years ago. Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago, something like that.
Oh man, yeah.
So it's been a minute,
long.
dude.
Yeah.
And you're kind of kicking it out in Vancouver on the coast now, and obviously you're coming through the Okanagan. So
yeah, well, I mean, like I grew up here, and my family's all here still, and still got tons of friends. So it's hard to come visit, but I try to go as much as I can. And
yeah.
So yeah, and like. I don't know, it's just cool to like see what's all going on here. Like when I left, it was very, like I left because there wasn't stuff to do like with like music and even, stuff like this. Like, and now coming back, it's awesome to see all the stuff going on. And like, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. The art scene here has grown a lot over the past 5 years. It feels like, and especially in that kind of like hip hop realm. Like we always had a big like indie kind of rock scene that would go through its like waves, but hip hop had always been kind of like not on the up and up here.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know, like, like the Somewhere in the Valley boys. Like,
shout out Kenny, shout out Indy, shout out Lil Sheen.
Dude, like Kenny and I, like, I was 18, he's probably like 17, and we were just like making beats in his mom's basement. And like, like a couple of days ago, I was here at the studio that they're renting, and just like, it's just so cool to see the growth and expansion.
Totally, man. Yeah. Well, it's funny because my sister, she's an actor and actress, and she did the same thing. Like 18, moved out to Vancouver just because there wasn't much going on here, and hopefully we can start facilitating that more in town.
Dude, I'm like, damn, like I could move back, like I could
if you wanted to, yeah.
That's how it feels sometimes. Like even my cousin Truth, like he was like down here a couple weeks ago, and he was like, dude, I can't believe how much is popping off. Like, yeah, and he's a homegrown Okanagan boy, so nice. He's like, yeah, I could go back easily.
Yeah. But. And how's Vancouver treating you? It seems like you're a busy dude out there. Yeah,
dude, it's honestly great. Like, I really like it. For a lot of reasons. But it's I don't know, dude. It's okay. First of all, I love Vancouver. Let's just put that first. But it kind of feels a lot of the time like it doesn't have a soul in terms of like like there's no unifying Vancouver culture. There's just like pockets of like subcultures, and yeah, just like in terms of like the art scene, and especially for like the stuff that I'm trying to do, there isn't a huge amount of like industry there. So it's been really cool. Like I've met so many cool people and done a lot of cool stuff, but it's such a grind out there. Like it's been a huge grind, and I don't know. I think eventually my career is going to take me probably out east or like south somewhere. So we'll see. But I love Vancouver. I'm trying to like squeeze as much as I can out of the city until that happens. So
yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about your kind of musical journey and your musical career. Like, were you always into rap and hip hop from a young age?
Oh man. Well, I started drumming at like when I was like 6. So my parents put me in drum lessons, and yeah, I've just been playing drums my whole life. It feels like I was never very good though. Like, but I was like playing in rock bands, and then I went through like jazz band, and like I love playing jazz. And yeah, I like started listening to rap music, but just mostly I listened to like straight 50 Cent, like straight 50 Cent, Lil Wayne. It was like nothing else. And then like T-Pain stuff, and then found Travis like in high school. And then it was like a hobby, like to listen and kind of like being a drummer. I used to beatbox for people, like freestyling and stuff. And it was just like just a fun thing to do. But after high school, I went to Okanagan College for like one semester, barely passed. And I was like, hey, you know what? This is definitely not what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like this is 100% not what I want to do. And I wanted my parents to support me, and cause they were like really big on school. And so I was like, hey, what if I just like found a music school? Cause that's what all I was doing at that time too. Like in my spare time was just making beats, and like
you were producing at that time as well.
Yeah. I should say like, yeah, I started producing when I was like 13 so. I heard like some dubstep that, yeah, my friend, he showed me dubstep. I'd never heard it before. And I was literally like, how do I make this? And, so I just downloaded like FL Studio and started messing around, and just taught myself. But yeah, like I never really took it seriously. It was just like what I love to do. And, shout out my friend Tristan Martin. He like would sell my CD. I'd like make dubstep songs, burn CDs. Tristan would go like sell them. And, yeah, it was a fun time, man. But once I was like, okay, like I got to get my shit together. It's real life. I'm going to college. It's like, hey, maybe I can do music school, and then my parents will actually get behind me and like kind of support it. And, I also wanted to get the fuck out of Kelowna at the time too. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I found this school in Vancouver. My parents were like, it's a lot of money. How are you going to do this? And, yeah, I just had to figure it out and move down. Like, I just turned 19, and then I moved to Vancouver, went to school. And yeah, since then I've just been out there on the coast, like trying to make stuff happen and just figuring out myself. Like, yeah, it feels like when I first went down there, I didn't even know what I was doing at all. Like I was like just rolling the dice.
Yeah.
Like, just like a dumb kid figured it out.
That's how we all are at 19, right? So
yeah, man. So it's been good though, man. Like I've just constantly refining, trying new like paths of like, what am I going to do with music? What does that actually look like? And that's constantly like, evolving, and I'm constantly growing. Like that's the whole point, is like just trying to have consistent growth, and just continue to like, believe in myself and my people, and yeah, just trying to go fucking Drake levels. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's so funny what you say that about dubstep, because I think I was like probably 13 also when I first heard it, maybe 12 or something, and yeah, when my buddy showed it to me, I thought that was the name of the song, was dubstep. He was like, hey, this is dubstep. And I thought it was the artist, sorry. Yeah. And I was like, cool, who's dubstep? He's like, no, you idiot, that's a genre. Yeah. And I was like, oh, wicked.
Dude, I used to listen to like I grew up kind of listening to Billy Talent and like kind of like punk stuff like that. So it felt like this like electronic version of like this like metal like stuff. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. Yeah. I just love beats. Like I love like hard beats. So I guess like just being a drummer, and it was like this, it was so cool, man. Like I still have like really shitty tracks on YouTube from like back in those days that I used to upload and like, yeah, it's good stuff.
You mentioned Billy Talent, and the first concert I ever went to was a Green Day concert.
Oh, yeah?
American Idiot. Do you remember your first concert that you ever went to?
Dude, it was Billy Talent.
Wait, here in Kelowna?
Yeah. They came here like, I don't know, my buddy's dad like took a whole group of us. We must have been like grade 6 or something. Like we were super young, but we were all super into them. And I don't remember too much of it, but I remember being super hyped. It was sick. Yeah, that was the first concert for sure.
And do you remember performing your first concert as well, or?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, I used to play, like I played drums and I used to play in like this rock band and like that I took lessons through and like we did like gigs for that. I think one of my first gigs, I was like grade 6 and there's like in a band playing at like a restaurant with a bunch of our like parents there, like who organized it kind of thing. But I didn't get on the mic until I was like at the end of school. Because when I first moved to Vancouver, I went to like audio engineering school. I wasn't planning on being a rapper or like rapping at all. Like it was just something fun that I like to do. And I wanted to like hear verses over my own beats. So I just like mess around. And then all my friends at school, like all my classmates were like, bro, you should keep doing this. Like keep rapping and stuff. And then we had like a showcase at the end of the year for like is like a graduation night for the school. And like they're offering anybody to perform. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna like play there and rap. And yeah, that was the first like rap show. And then yeah, that was like, fuck man, 2015, I think. Yeah.
Do you get nervous when you have to step up on
Definitely.
stage? Or, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I'm so like, I've always been like an awkward guy. Like, and so like just being on the mic like is without music, that's terrifying to me. Like once we're like playing the songs, I can just like perform the song. That's okay. But it's like, it's taken me a long time to get comfortable enough to like just talk to the crowd or like just not be like frozen up there. Like, yeah.
That's admirable though, to like face that fear and do it. I did a couple of shows where I was like hosting and just being like the host, and I got like way too drunk for one of them because I was just so nervous, you know? And, but
and what happened?
I probably made a fool of myself in a couple different ways, but I'm more confident now to go up and do it. And
honestly though, a little bit of alcohol is the move. Like
just a tiny bit, right?
Like
just
one shot, like or like one beer.
Ease the nerves a little bit.
Dude, 100%. I'm it's like that's like scripture to me. Like you gotta it helps so much. Yeah. I swear. But you gotta have a second to sneak off, take a shot before you actually go up. So yeah, man.
And when you're performing, you say it kind of like those nerves kind of, float away or whatever. Is that just you getting into a flow state?
Yeah, I think so, man. Like, well, like actually, I used to play a lot of sports growing up, like stopped after high school, cold turkey with everything. But just playing shows was like it reminds me a lot of like game day.
Right.
Because you just got to go out there and like perform and do your best. And yeah, like you want to be in the moment. And even when I do get nervous, I just try to like channel it into like just like doing my best kind of thing, if that makes sense. I don't know. But yeah, like you have to use those nerves.
Yes.
Yeah. It's energy, like nervous energy. I think it's good to have that. Like if you're not getting nervous, then like you're probably too comfortable. You're not like challenging yourself.
You're not pushing yourself enough.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I can't remember who I heard this from, but they were saying that all the greatest athletes in the world, when you hear them talk about nerves, they describe it as excitement rather than being nervous. And they just take that energy and they challenge it into excitement.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know. I think everything is like, you can use a lot of emotion in general to fuel whatever you're trying to do. At least like in terms of that performance thing. Like I'm always, I don't know, like when I go on stage, like I try not to overthink it too much. Like, even like later today, I'm playing drums for Rebecca. And
is that going to be down on
just
Bernard?
on like the Meet Me on Bernard thing?
Yeah, sick.
Yeah. So, but even that, I'm like, I was drinking a bit last night and partying a little bit. And I'm like, okay, like I'm not thinking about it. We haven't practiced at all. Like we're just going to jam out and stuff. But it's like, I'm still, if I think about that too much, I'm going to like start freaking out a little bit. Like, yeah. So I just try to like walk up and like just get her done. And yeah.
Well,
like,
you've put in the work at this point.
Yeah.
Also,
I was going
right?
to say,
So,
yeah, it's like, you know, I'm not talking about like all the rehearsing and whatever, all the work that goes into the prep. But when it comes to the actual performance, yeah, I think like that flow state mentality, what you're talking about is, it's kind of like I think when you're on, it just happens. Like it's like almost like a byproduct of all those things coming together in that situation. Yeah. I don't know if you ever like, do you ever feel like, have you ever like done a performance kind of thing like that? Or other than emceeing, like,
yeah,
I bet even like working camera, like you get into a flow state.
Yeah, sometimes definitely acting. I've been like nervous to do and get up in front of the cameras and do that. But like sports, like you said, man, like I totally relate to that. Growing up playing sports, you're like, hey, you just gotta zone in and get it done and do your best. And yeah. My journey's been interesting in like I had probably a little bit of like anxiety growing up, especially playing like I played a little bit of drums growing up as well.
Nice.
And just being for some reason in band class when it came down to like school performances, like I was deathly terrified to do those.
Oh yeah.
But like then I went and got drum lessons at Wentworth and we did like a rock kind of show.
Oh yeah, like the showcases.
Yeah, and I was like spinning my sticks. I was like throwing them out to my parents and like grabbing some new ones. Like I was in the zone.
Nice.
So yeah, it was just a difference of I don't know what it was, but
yeah, no, I know what you mean, but I don't know. Like I feel like doing this podcast, like you've been able to have these like conversations, like kind of in depth, you know, like one-on-one. Like it's not really a common way of communicating. I feel like nowadays,
100%.
Like how often do you actually sit down like this and get to like have this more like intimate conversation with someone?
So many people have been like, yo, I was not expecting to just like stare into your eyes for like an hour. And I'm like, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. And I've had one other guest tell me that this feels like an interrogation room.
Really? Oh my God. That's intense, dude.
It's intense, but
I don't know. I like it, man. I like it. I think that it's good. Like you don't get enough of it these days. Like I said, like, everyone just, you know, on their phones and shit. And like, just so this superficial surface level like interactions, and it's I don't know, it's good to just get nitty gritty, get into the deep end. Like what else is there in life? You know what I mean? Like this book that I recommend to everybody, it kind of changed my life a little bit. It's called The Art of Conversation. And what they pointed out was like back in the just before the French Revolution, the kind of aristocrats at the time, they would invite people whose jobs and title was that they were a conversationalist. And so they would get invited to these like fancy dinner parties purely because they were good at conversing and entertaining, right? Because they didn't have like TV back then or radio or anything. So yeah, there was these people who were just like good at conversing and they would get invited to all these cool parties. And so the premise of the book was like breaking that down and like why these people were good at that and what they did and stuff. And that's really cool.
Yeah, it helped my life a lot.
Like, did it like kind of teach you how to have like more in-depth conversations and like connect and stuff? Like
definitely. And the biggest lesson and like the one tool that it took away from it to have better conversations was just being a better listener, which was like, you know, it's this back and forth. It's this tug of war, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Like charisma can get you really freaking far in life, like so far. Like you can just have nothing and you can have a lot of charisma and you're good. Like,
totally.
It's wild, you know? But that's fascinating that they actually had okay, this guy's like, he's really like good with the words. So let's bring him and he'll like liven everything up. That's sick. Yeah,
it's kind of interesting. So if anybody wants to have me over at their dinner and feed me, I'm down.
We'll talk for food.
We'll talk for food. I should have a sign like that up.
Oh man. That's pretty cool, man. So like, why did it change your life though? Why was it so impactful for you? I just don't think I was good at really having conversations with people that I didn't know. Like I've never been the type of dude to like go and introduce myself to somebody, or not. At least now I am, but back in the day I wasn't. And I got into automotive straight out of high school, and I was just working with a bunch of dudes all the time also. And so I had a I'd be lying. Part of the reason I bought the book is because I couldn't talk to girls. Right. So it helped me with that as well. Nice. There you go. Dude, that's interesting. Like, cause I felt like kind of in a similar place, when I was younger, like coming out of high school, like I was always, again, like I said, just really awkward kind of guy. But, I got a job in Vancouver as a barista, and I've been a barista for like 5 years, and that alone, like, I feel like I can just talk to anyone now. Like
Totally.
I just had this weird, like, not public speaking, but like just interacting with strangers and like just this like conversational skills that I never really thought I was going to get out of the job.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I'm just like, I feel like I can talk to anyone now and have like any kind of conversation. And
I hear servers say that and stuff all the time also. And like my sister will even like use some acting skills and like put on a different character with one table and then put on another character with another table just based on the vibe.
Yeah, I definitely I used to do that like for tips. Like you always trying to like, you know, if there's like a couple older ladies that come in, you're like, hello ladies. But if there's like a construction bro coming in, you're like, what's up, man? Like, you know, it's like different kind of, you gotta like, you know, just play the crowd a little bit.
Totally,
you know?
totally.
Like you can, there's a way you can interact with people that you can make anyone comfortable with how you approach them. But.
Do you apply those same skill sets in the studio? Because especially when you're recording somebody or producing for them, studios I've been in, there seems like some producers like to set a vibe and like a tone, but they'll adjust it based on the artist they're working with.
I definitely, I guess like I usually do everything out of my place now. I got like a nice home studio setup. And for that, like, I kind of like trust my own, at least I trust like the work I put in to make that place like a good vibe.
Yeah.
But like, I will definitely interact with different artists differently. Like, cause some people like Rebecca, who I like work a lot with, she's like, you can talk to her and be super direct. Like she's not as sensitive as some other artists, but then there's like other artists who are like, if you tell them that you need to like sing, like maybe it's like, hey, can you sing this like a little bit like this instead? They're like, oh, do I suck? And it's like,
No.
so you're kind of like managing, and then there's like, you know, like, because I've been trying to work with a lot more like singer songwriters and that kind of stuff, but you know, when it's like rappers coming through, like it's a totally different vibe, obviously. So yeah, definitely like the people skills and being able to kind of just adapt a little bit to what everybody needs. Cause I mean, at the end of the day too, like as a producer or an engineer, I'm kind of like fulfilling a service for the artist. So I'm trying to meet their needs and make sure they have a good experience, whatever they're trying to do. And yeah, like I'm only getting into producing and engineering for like artists I don't know, or just like getting those kind of bookings, like cause I'm trying to like do a side hustle, basically monetize my skills. But for the most part, I'm working with people that I know and have like a connection with, and we're like trying to achieve something. So with that, it's a lot more blunt. We get pretty straight up with each other. Like my team, like we keep it like really straight up and honest.
And who's all on your team?
So that's like Rebecca Sihone, and then my cousin Truth, and then my buddy Jacob Hoskins. All of them have music on SoundCloud, Spotify, whatever, all the platforms. Go check it out. But yeah, those guys are like my core four. Oh, and also Daniel Detour. He's another one we got to shout out. But yeah, those guys, like, it's quite an eclectic team. Like, and that's just like the music team. Like we got other people that doing other stuff, but yeah, like those are the people in the studio. Like those are all my people that, like, if I'm working on something, I'm gonna send it to them and be like, what do you think? I want to hear what you have to say. So
it's so important to have that team and that energy, because you kind of all hold each other accountable. You can all lift each other up. You all have different skill sets and sounds that you can bring to the table. And
yeah, man, I don't think you can do a lot of shit without a team. Like
totally.
I used to like, I don't know. I've had to do a lot of shit on my own, like coming out to Van, and like it felt like it was kind of a solo endeavor, and just everything I was doing. Like my parents very like athletic, academic, kind of like type people, and they wanted me to go that same route, and so it just felt like I didn't have a lot of mentorship, And I was like, okay, I'm just going to do everything on my own. Like, fuck it. I'm just, like the one man.
I'll do it
band
myself.
man. Yeah. Just fucking Russ level shit, whatever. Like, I was like, you know what? Like realizing it, like I can do, like I'm good at what I'm good at, but then like I'm not good at the stuff I'm not good at. So why don't I just get people who are good at that stuff, find those people, and like not only like on a career level, but all of those people I just talked about, like they're homies. Like those are my day ones kind of thing. So just in life, those are the people I also go to as well. And I think it's important just to have like family and friends, like whatever you're doing, you know, like, I don't know. I came from a place where like I was very focused on like quantity of relationships, not quality.
Okay.
And I've just started to totally realize like, how shallow kind of like an existence that can be.
Yeah,
like,
interesting.
Without having real depth, real like connection and quality connection with people.
Yeah.
We're like my circle is like shrunk a lot, but it feels better.
Nice.
If that makes sense.
Totally. That's so important. I was lucky enough to grow up with some friends that like are still my best friends, closest friends, and I can tell them anything.
Yeah.
Like, and just to have that release, like just take some weights off your shoulders and just like know that somebody is there to talk to, and they're not going to judge you. They're still going to love you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I got that from my parents too. Like I was just
Nice,
lucky
man.
in that sense, but I think everybody needs that.
Yeah, dude. Like, I think it's extremely important.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's been tough trying to fucking find the right people, honestly. Like, it's been really hard. I don't know. My parents like separated when I was really young, and I always grew up kind of like in this weird, like, I feel like I avoided connection because I never saw, like, I know role models for people like hashing problems out. It was always like just dip kind of thing, which I love my parents. Let's just shout them out real quick. Like, they're both great, but yeah, like I didn't have any like good role models for that. If that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because it's too easy when like a conflict comes up to just not confront it, be passive aggressive, like not really deal with it. And then that would just lead to me, like I'd build that stuff up with my friendships, and then I would just resent that person, and then I didn't want to be around them anymore. So I just dip. But like actually being able to work out those issues, like, and face those problems, and then you forge something deeper having gone through that, like
100%. 100%. Do you find that with your music and stuff also, that it can be like therapeutic? Like you can kind of like
stuff,
writing, or even just the creation process.
100%, man. 100%. Like if I'm like upset in any type of way, like that's what I want to go do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's extremely therapeutic.
Yeah.
I think if I like at the end of the day, like if I never make it, I'm never gonna stop writing.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean? Like all the other stuff, like the business side of the game, and like even performing. I love performing, but all that stuff I could just let go if I could just write. Like I'd love to just write. I could write every day.
Nice.
So yeah, man. It's like essential part of life. Like it's like if you don't you know how like if you don't exercise for a bit, you kind of go crazy. Like you get too pent up. Like if I don't write, I get like in this I feel like lost.
Nice. Yeah.
It's like a very grounding experience.
And I'm sure it goes the other way also. If you're like, there's something you're super stoked and happy about, you want to write about that and make like a wicked song that everybody can get hyped up to. And
kind of, man. I honestly though, I definitely write usually when I'm upset. It's a different. When I'm happy, I definitely, well now, like I just show up because like I'm trying to do something huge. So, and when I am happy stuff comes out, but like it's a different vibe like than when I'm upset about something. That's really when the like dirtiness comes out, like the real shit,
the rawness.
Yeah. Like I love like, it's like different. Like if I'm going to write something like lyrics, if I'm going to like write a song, I'm coming from a dark place like 95% of the time. Yeah.
One of my favorite artists in town is Windmills, Corey. And he always says, I'm mostly happy, but I write sad music or something or I always write sad music, but I'm mostly happy. Like something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like when I'm happy, I like making beats. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, if I'm gonna write something down, it's definitely gonna be, I don't know. I'm trying to find like my own avenue of like aggression and like what that looks like. And like the track I just released, Storm Coming, that one, it feels like it felt like I was making like an anime movie because it wasn't really. I was like, this isn't me. I'm like creating a character, creating like this scene and like this thing, and somehow like, I don't know. Like I'm a very self-aware to a fault type of person.
Right.
So in rap music, like there's a lot of people who rap about stuff that's like not authentic to themselves, which is fine because at the end of the day, we're just making art. But for me, it's always felt like important to be like, to feel authentic in what I'm saying, like in being honest. And songs that I've written where, like I fall into that like the hip hop like cliches where that whatever you're talking about, like whatever, like, all the tropes of hip hop, like that stuff, all the superficial stuff I'd written like that. And it just felt so like, I'm like, okay, the song is good, the beat's good, everything's good, but it just doesn't feel
feel right. Yeah.
50 many men, our heads, Wimbledon. If a hater's got a fucking problem, swing back, pendulum. Quads in my blood to a re-up. I got heat like Tanzania. We got a set of Latinas, they wanna travel like on board a visa. Sangria, Santeria. Met a gang of Filipinas.
It doesn't feel right when you're with like doing all that superficial stuff. So, but this one, somehow I was like making like I was writing stuff that like is totally not authentic, but it was more like, okay, this isn't me though. This is like this character, and like
Right.
it just, so I was able. It like was like this different. It was like a perspective shift that like opened it up and allowed me to like channel a lot of aggression, because I'm a pretty like happy, like chill dude. But I have like this like the rage that I want to bring out.
Yeah.
I need to find like avenues, and it's like, when I'm like, okay, I'm not the type of person that's gonna like whatever. I say a lot of stuff in that song that's very aggressive, but it's like, but that's just like this character kind of thing.
Such a healthier way to go about it is doing it through your music and your art, and then just going out there and being a fucking dickhead to people.
Yeah, man. Like, do you know? Like, I'm just gonna assume that you know who Jordan Peterson is.
Yes.
Yeah. Like his whole like thing. I listened to his audiobook for the 12 Rules of Life. I can't remember what like section of the book he talked about this in, but like how we need to like own our masculinity in a sense, or like,
and embrace the shadow, embrace your inner monster.
Yeah. Because like if you don't, you're not going to be able to control how it comes out, because it's just going to like come out like.
Well, and you're just denying that it's not there.
Yeah.
And then it comes out, and it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, but it's like obviously our world is full of darkness as much as it's full of like beautiful, like good things. Like it's the yin and yang and the duality of our reality. And yeah, you have to own it in order to, I don't want to say control it, but like control it kind of.
Yeah.
Like, like Jordan says in that book, it's like that turns into like rape and like murder and like all kinds of violent stuff. And like, yeah, being able to own it and whatever. I don't know. Like I'm not like a super into fitness, but like I love when I go to the gym, it's just like, I'm like putting all my demons into that like, experience and just exercising the demons out. Like
I do that through martial arts now, and
nice.
like I grew up as a kid doing martial arts a little bit, but then stopped throughout all of like high school and stuff, and then got back into it about just after the first lockdown, and just being able to go into a group of and there's tons of like men, women there, all different shapes and sizes.
Nice.
It's such an exclusive place, and like everybody's just training together, but you're still being physical. You're still, getting some of your aggression out.
Yeah.
And it's such a healthy place to do it.
What kind of martial arts are you doing?
It's jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai boxing.
Nice.
Primarily. And then they incorporate a ton of wrestling and just traditional boxing in there as well.
So you're learning how to fuck people up, and
essentially,
like you're practicing it, and so you're kind of it's like absolutely a great way to channel that.
Yeah.
because you're kind of doing it. But
And you learn so quick that you're just not even close to being the toughest dude in there. Like there are some savages in there, and they're the
Yeah.
nicest people.
Yeah.
They're the nicest people. Like David Lee, shout out David Lee, Toshido MMA. I bet that guy could fuck up most people that he comes across, but he's always got a giant smile.
Yeah.
Just such a happy dude, just so welcoming, so caring. It's cool to see.
Yeah, I've done quite a bit of martial arts growing up because my dad, Mark Steen, he's got like 3 black belts and he's obsessed with jiu-jitsu. And
Oh, damn. Nice.
yeah, I haven't done it since I moved out because like I'm a starving artist and jiu-jitsu clubs are expensive. So I haven't been able to do it since I moved. But I like all growing up, my dad would just like force me to come and like train with him. And we only did this a couple times if my dad ever listens to this. So it's not like he used to beat me up or anything, but like there's a few times where like, if we had some big disagreements, we just go to the gym and like throw on some gloves and like settle it like that. And it would be like, I would get scared because I still like, my dad's like 60 something or like 59 maybe, but he could still fuck me up and still fuck up a lot of people. And he's always been a terrifying man on that level, as much as he's been a lovable man. But dude, like we'd be like squaring up and I'm like, oh shit. And then it
It's got real quick.
Yeah. Suddenly I get popped and I'm like, okay, you're going to go like that then. And then I'll just like come back. And then, we always left those like, okay, we're good. Like, and we'd always, it was all love after that. But,
Well, especially growing up as a dude, and then you're looking at your dad, and there's that moment where you're becoming a man.
Yeah.
And you want to kind of challenge the man in your life half the time, right? Like, I think it's a natural thing. So
yeah, man, I know I used to, this is such a small example of that, but like when I was a little kid, I remember just like, because my dad, we always fighting growing up, like wrestling and stuff. And then I was punching him on the arm as hard as I could. I remember, and as I grew up, that he would just chuckle and like laugh and just be like just I'm like, fuck, why doesn't this do anything? And then as I'm getting older, that laugh response is slowly turning into this angry like thing. And now, I punch him and he's like, he's ready to go. He's always ready to go. Like, yeah, it's good, man.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I highly recommend martial arts for everybody. I think it's such a key thing. And I think most people would not be violent if they train martial arts.
Yeah. Well, I think I know we're talking about channeling the darkness. I mean, it's such a good way because you realize that all that shit inside of you can just get put there. And then once you like do that stuff, and also like with all the confidence that you get from doing martial arts, and then like the bonding experience and the humbling experiences that you get, realizing, like you said, that you aren't shit. And like it really helps, man.
Totally.
It really helps. Like it makes people a lot more calm and humble and like respectful.
Yeah, it checks your ego at the end of the day.
Huge. Like my dad at KSS, like because he was a vice principal there, but he started like this MMA course, and I don't know if it's still going or I don't know what's going on now because he's retired and stuff. But we would just go in there and like spar at the class, and it was sick. But I remember like I was always like big in my class, but there was like another guy who was huge. This guy Akeem. And I always had to spar him because like there was this massive gap between him and the rest of the class. And I was like this bridge and he didn't know what like going 50% was. And every class, dude, I had to go up against this guy and just get like knocked around. And it made me a better person, I think, like I think everyone needs to face adversity.
Facts.
Like 100%. We're all way too scared. And especially as an adult, we're just like, we have the ability to avoid it. You can do whatever, for the most part, do whatever you want with your life. And so everybody's like, I'd rather get a participation award and sit back and like feel entitled for things.
That's what I notice about artists so often is that it's like some of course do, but a lot don't feel entitled because they have to grind and they get told no so often, and they're starving artists at the beginning of their career. And it's just no's, whether you're an actor or a rapper or a producer.
Man, it's tough. It's tough to face that. it's tough to face the rejection at the beginning, because if you've never experienced rejection, it hurts, but it's also not really like it's not really about you. It's about the other person. And I mean, it's like you whatever you're trying to do, if that gets rejected, yeah, it's obviously your stuff, but it's like, you have to look at that more as like a sign of where's the next thing that I have to focus on.
Yeah.
Like, I think that, like, I don't know, it's like a kind of philosophical way of thinking, but when something is like in a challenge or adversity, that's like the path that you should follow. That's like the universe showing you where you need to go next. That's what I think, man. Like, cause I think if you really follow all that stuff, that is growth. And, too often people get focused on the destination of like, I'm trying to end up here, and where there is actually no destination. And you always whenever you get to that point, you're like, where's all like the good feelings I'm supposed to feel? Like, totally. I got to this place. And then you realize, if you're lucky enough to be aware enough to realize that shit has to come from inside at the end of the day. And I think, feeling good about yourself and like building that like self-respect comes from like overcoming those challenges, like totally. Facing that adversity head on. And like, maybe you get knocked in your ass, but again, it's like, there's not really it's just all about like what that stuff can teach you about yourself and your journey. I think it's like literally, like I said, highlighting the next step of your journey.
Yeah, it's just like a video game at the end of the day. Yeah. You gotta, in order to level up, you gotta face some adversity. You gotta hit some challenges and knock them off the list. Yeah, man. I think, not to get political, but it's like our culture. I'm really, like sick of seeing people feel so entitled without doing any kind of work and like without doing anything like constructive or like kind of like, like just kind of like sitting on their ass, like being loud. Yeah. Yeah. It actually goes back to one of Jordan Peterson's lessons, which some people don't fully understand, but I think it's rule number 1 in his book is clean your room. And his whole concept behind it is like, how can you criticize the world and how unorganized it is and how chaotic it is if your own room, your own state, yourself that's a reflection of yourself is chaotic and unorganized and, you know? Yeah. Yeah, man. I realized like, just over the last few years that, you know, with all the things going on in society, all the issues we're highlighting in our culture and society and there's like a big push to make some change right now. And I realized, you know, part of that change is talking about it. Obviously, part of that change is like, you know, educating yourself. But I think the most important thing to make that change, and also the most impactful thing you can do, is just like actually just to focus on yourself and just to become like the best person you can be. Because like you said, like you have to clean up your own shit before you can clean up the world. Facts. And I think that cleaning up your own shit actually is synonymous with cleaning up the world, because you're going to go out into the world every day carrying that, I don't know, like self-refinement. Like you're just going to, if you work on yourself, you're just going to naturally spread that to the people and to the community that you're in. You can lead by example. Exactly. And I think that's the most powerful way to make effective change. Very well put. Yeah. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back. All right. We got the coast up 100 degrees. All of these rappers want me on their beats. I'm like, wait, motherfucker, please. Y'all been my son since I bustin' the V and the V. Pay me them numbers, ain't nothing could freeze. Said I was a runner, now I run the league. Bitch, I'm a dog where I'm stuck in the lead. Said y'all been my son since I bustin' the V. Yeah, she high strong, put my tongue in her flesh. My lungs, such a number the best. Right on, boy. All right, we're back. Back. So yeah, you're obviously going to perform right after this. You're gonna play some drums with Rebecca, you said. Yeah. What's that feeling like, being able to perform again after pretty much a year of not being able to perform, and if not longer?
It's like literally, well, I have to like pinch myself because it feels so good. Like I actually like, I feel like a little kid, like
Yeah.
that level of like excitement. It's insane, man. I mean, again, like what I was saying earlier, writing's always like at the top level of my passion, but being able to perform and that experience is, I don't know, it's amazing. And if after, like I spent the whole pandemic working on trying to like refine and like just make my shit as good as it can be. And so then it feels like I'm coming out of this like hibernation state and like I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it feels amazing, man.
Just amped up, right?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I can't, there's something about like not being able to do something that makes you want to do it so much more.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, we're like kind of like cats, you know, it's like, just leave the door open. Let me do it. If the door is shut right there, it's like, fuck, man. Yeah. Let me out, you know, let me go. Like, yeah, no, I'm super pumped.
And is this your first show since coming back or?
No. So we've had a couple shows, since the pandemic like opened up a bit, I guess. Yeah, we had a pretty controversial show a few weeks ago in July. Yeah, but so that one was kind of.
Well, so to me, it looked like, was that like a stage and then you had like a crowd in front of you, or were you guys
Okay.
kind of?
I'll lay it out.
Yeah, set it up.
So, shout out to the ice cream truck. They're like this collective that they've been like trying to bring back live music and trying to like create this push and try to give back the opportunity for artists to play. And also, though, one of their big kind of focuses is they're trying to change the permit laws in Vancouver for outdoor live music, because it takes like a year to get a permit to like have amplified sound in a space. So
damn.
That's a whole other topic. But that's kind of like the ice cream truck's whole shtick. So I didn't really know that going into this performance. Like I've been going to these events and I was actually wondering like, this is so sick. Everything they're doing, they're just setting up in these parks and they're doing different locations every Saturday in Vancouver. And it was kind of going on in June, building up pretty much every Saturday, June, like at the end of May, June into July. And Rebecca got an opportunity to play some shows. So I was going there like filming for her, just kind of supporting her. And then met like the organizers and stuff. And then finally we got an opportunity for Truth and I to play and play some hip hop stuff and like actually go off and like do that. So we got booked for this gig and it was going to be at Sunset Beach in Vancouver. We show up for sound check and there's like all these park rangers and like some cops talking to the organizer, Roberto. And they're like, we're like, hey, what's going on? Like, what's the whole shtick? And they're like, yeah, they're telling, and like some of the crew, they're like, yeah, they're telling us, you know, we have to shut it down. They're going to confiscate all our shit if we like have amplified sound. And at this point I had no idea what anything was going on. I just was like, this is an opportunity to play a show. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, shit, like I'm getting kind of like starting to like accept the possibility that we might not play and just kind of like, okay, like this might be a thing. I'm just going to like accept it. Whatever happens, we'll try to do it. So we're not setting up at all. Like everything's just paused. And eventually Roberto comes back and he's like, okay, we have two options. If we could just set up here until they kick us out, or we could move up the hill to this other spot that's like not in like park grounds. So
Right.
like the Vancouver parks wouldn't have jurisdiction to like kick us out. And we're like, okay, well, let's just move and go there. Like, let's just do that.
Yeah.
So we didn't know. I didn't know. I should just say like, personally, I did not know any of this stuff. I'm not trying to like throw anyone under the bus here at all, but I personally did not know that we were going to be moving to a bike lane.
Okay.
So the decision was made. We moved to this bike lane, and because this bike lane was not part of the parks, but we just like. So I personally, I don't think that was maybe the greatest idea. and the cops were upset. But there was this idea that we were gonna like put it on as like a protest, and so we were gonna protest and like displace traffic, and the cops were gonna like support the protest and help redirect traffic.
And was this protest intention for like these amplifying laws in Vancouver? Okay.
Because like their whole thing was like that's why they were trying to raise awareness about that and get more public support to change those laws. So Roberto was like, fuck it, we're just gonna like make this a protest, and that's what we're doing. Now we're having this music protest, whatever. But we're like, so we get all set up. And the cops are not helping us. They're not redirecting traffic. It's like awkward. Like bikes are trying to go by and there's like just guys like setting up stuff. And it's just like
bikers can get aggressive also.
Yeah, man.
Like,
I would be if like I'm just trying to go do whatever I'm thinking. There's just like it's just blocked. So you have to like get off your bike and go around, and like it was a weird vibe. Like and we were constantly like, is this the right thing we should be doing? And like I'm trying to help out the crew. One, because again, like I'm just trying to make as much connections as possible in the city, and like working with them, like I'm at a point where like I'll play almost any show you want me to because I'm just hungry. So I'm just trying to help and like I'm questioning the moral ethics of all these decisions at the same time. So eventually we get all set up. Cops are not helping. And what I found out in hindsight, what the cops actually were like, okay, you know what? We're going to like shut it down. And they're telling Ice Cream Truck to shut it down. So a few acts go up first, and they're like these bands, and they play like pretty like indie rock, not very abrasive music, nice, like fairly easy listening. Okay, and then next up is me and Truth. And especially Truth, he's into some hard rap, like aggressive, like real hip hop shit. Like Truth is a real MC. So he's going up there to lay some bars and say some potentially offensive things. And like we do the first two songs in our set, and because I DJ for him and do like backup vocals, and then I'll rap like my verses kind of thing, but he's like the main guy on the mic. I'm usually on the decks. And first two songs in, we see the cops like surrounding us, and I literally shouted out on the mic, I was like, hey guys, like nice to see you. We got a nice crowd here. And like I was like, I don't know what's about to happen, but you know, thanks for being here, whatever. And like we play the third song we play was Storm Coming, which is the song I was talking about earlier, and it's very aggressive. And the chorus is like, there's a storm coming, there's a storm coming. And so we actually finished the song. We're on like the final chorus, like the song's about to end. And these cops, there's like 35 cops, by the way. And a huge line of them just start walking in, and they separate, they make a line barricading or like blocking off the stage from the crowd. And we're just like, Teague and I kind of made a conscious, like just looking at each other decision, like we're just going to perform this until they pull a plug. So we're just like rapping until literally they're like just pulling out plugs on the speakers, like just coming in. And Truth gets the idea. He's upset. And I'm like that they're shutting it down. So, you know, we're like, there's a storm coming. There's a storm coming. And then Truth, we stop because like the beat got cut. And Truth just goes on the mic, goes, fuck the police. And just on the mic, the PA system's like still going. Like the whole crowd, you heard it. And at this point, the cops, you know, they've been trying to shut it down for hours. And there's 35 of them out. There's this whole scene that's been created. They're pissed off. They do not want to be there. They're trying to shut this shit down ASAP. They were telling, I was talking to them after, there's like just like dozens of noise complaints coming in from the surrounding like apartments and stuff. So they just grab him and arrest him.
Just for yelling, fuck the police.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, they throw him in cuffs, and they grab my laptop and my DJ controller, and they're like trying to take it. And I'm like, after this is so True said fuck the police. I was like kind of looking away, and like I look back and I'm like, bro, what the cut that shit out. Cut that shit out. And then I look to the table, and they're like taking all my stuff. So I'm like, well, yo, what are you doing? They're like, we're confiscating this. Is like blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, I'm just an artist. Like I didn't like this isn't this is my stuff. This
Yeah.
is not the ice cream truck stuff. This is, and they're like, doesn't matter. Suck my dick, basically. Like,
Damn.
go fuck yourself. And then I look over and Trewhit's getting arrested, like getting cuffed. And so I just look back and I realized, I was like, they're not fucking around. Like, I'm just going to cooperate. So I was like, all right, officer. And he actually didn't take my laptop. He only took my controller. He let me keep my laptop. And I was like, okay, officer, how do I get this back? And then he was like, let's go suck my dick later. No, he didn't say that. But basically, they took Trewhit, made him sit down. They made me like, they're like, don't move, stay right there. I'm trying to like get all my cords and like get all my stuff, and they're like, don't fucking move, like stay there. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's
all the other artists had all their shit back there too, and they're like, can we get it? They're like, nah. So they basically just shut the whole thing down. Like Roberto, he was getting very vocal and he was like pretty upset. And then his wife, she had her phone on the table where the soundboard, like the mixing board was, which was behind the cop line. And she went to go grab it. And one of the cops pushed her back, and Roberto like pushed the cop back.
Oh yeah.
And then three cops just on him,
Of
cuff
course.
him, take him. So they take Roberto and Trewhit away. And at that point, like, they kind of just ripped out all the like spirit from the event. So everyone just kind of started dispersing after that. And they took Trewhit to jail for like, and kept him there for like 4 hours.
Really?
Yeah. And they're threatening to charge him with like criminal mischief and all this stuff, which I think if it really would have went to that, he would have like fought it and they wouldn't have won.
Yeah.
But I think they're just trying to scare the shit out of him, because there's like, okay, this kid like has a lot of guts to say that. We got to stomp that out right now. Like,
I'm surprised. I mean, like, obviously, if you're a cop and somebody else fuck the police, that probably rubs you a certain wrong way. But at this point in time, like, it's like so many people yell that shit at cops that I'm surprised they get so offended by it half the time.
Dude, well, like, I know. I was like,
I get it though.
I was like so mad. And I was just standing there, like, they're like telling me not to move. And I'm just like, fuck, man. I wanted to make a comment about like being white so bad. I was like, we're on the same fucking team, you cunts. Like, I was so mad, dude. I was like about to say some stuff like that. I was like, all right, Matt, just relax. Nothing good's going to come from that. Don't, but it's like, yeah, what would have happened if we were like people of color?
Yeah. It could have been a lot different.
Could have been very different.
And that's the
like,
thing,
we're
man.
lucky, honestly. Like, Trewhit's lucky, like, he didn't get fucked with more.
Yeah.
But
it's good that you to recognize that also, especially being in like the hip hop scene and stuff, is that people of color have been so obviously oppressed by the police for such a long time. And I remember growing up, I don't even know if my parents know this story, so they're probably hearing it for the first time. But I got caught with a little bit of weed one time by an officer, and he just like dumped out my grinder and like gave it back to me and like sent me on my way. And I always thought, like, what would happen if I was a person of color?
Yeah,
would I be so lucky? Like, he gave me my grinder back.
It's like, right? It's kind of sad that we can reflect and think about that too. Like, that's fucked up. But yeah, so that was kind of the end of that event. But they also confiscated the ice cream truck. Because Ice Cream Truck Collective, they actually have an ice cream truck.
I was about to ask, is this a real ice cream truck?
Yeah. They usually, because it's all outdoor events, so they actually bring like generators and stuff. But they have an ice cream truck that they sell merch and like food out of the events. So there's always like the ice cream truck there. And they just straight up confiscated it and impounded it. And they told Roberto that he wasn't going to get it back for months and months. But he got it back, and we're playing a show next Saturday.
Hey,
so
nice.
September 4th at the Sunwa rooftop in Vancouver.
Are there going to be cops there? Or?
Hopefully not. I'm assuming it's an indoor event, so I'm assuming all the like I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So yeah, I'm not like Trewhit, where I feel like I don't know, man. I've never got myself into a situation like that. I'm pretty good at getting myself out. So I think we'll be okay, whatever happens.
It's interesting, man. It's such a core part of hip hop culture as well, is kind of like, going against the authority and
and that's like, not to interrupt you there, but like for me, like hip hop is a passion, but I feel like I'm very much like a guest in that sense. Like I'm not an MC. Like I'm someone who can rap, but that's not my focus. And even like I don't want to say that because like hip hop is this. I don't know. Like I have a lot of respect for the genre, and I think the way it's been going the last while, like, is losing some of that respect, and it's okay. It's because the genre is growing and blossoming and like changing, and that's totally fine. But Truth, he's a real MC. Like he is like embodies the spirit of hip hop, and that's who he is. So it's like a part of it. Like, and he really like he does that because he loves it and believes it, and there's no one else who like I don't say that lightly. Do you know what I mean? Like, but he's someone like you can tell him to freestyle and he's gonna drop like super hot 16 straight off of the dome because that's what he does. Like he's in it for like the real love of hip hop.
Yeah, that's tight.
Yeah, so saying fuck the police kind of goes along with that, I guess. But
yeah. Wild. That's a crazy story, man. That's very interesting. I saw some of the clips and footage and stuff, and I was like, yo, you guys got to put this in a music video one day.
I know, man. We tried to get a bit more like promo and like just stuff around this song, but we got some stuff. But I think what we did actually was my favorite thing was like the song. We were still sitting on it and we hadn't put it out yet. And after that all happened, we were like, we got to put the song out like fucking ASAP. So it was basically finished. I just had to finish like mixing it and like, but I was working on the song and I was like, man, I really want to just use these like events somehow. And my buddy Jacob Hoskins was like, bro, you should put the audio from all the videos that people captured into the track.
Facts.
And I was like, that's brilliant. So there's this, if you listen to the song, like at the end, it goes at the end of the chorus, it goes into the chant because people are like, there's a storm coming when the beat was cut and we were just chanting that.
Crazy.
Dude. And then it's like the way I lined it up is like, it goes that and it's like fades off. You can hear like, everything fading out and the cops cutting the shit. And then Truth goes, fuck the police. And then the beat comes back and drops. And my mastering engineer, Eugene, actually I should have shouted him out earlier. Caveman Masters. He's such a good guy, man, and so good at what he does too. And he's like helps out a lot with like the last stage of things. Like he's always like FaceTiming me, like, bro, you got to do this little switch here and do this. And everything he tells me to change is like, holy shit, it just elevates it.
Nice.
And he was like, okay, bro, you got to like turn up the bass like crazy at the end here. You got to do this. And like, I was like, and then it ended up for being a really, really sick, like, I don't know, like not a tribute to the event, but it was just, I loved how that we were able to use that event and actually put it in the song and like use that audio from the crowd and everything. So
yeah, that's tight.
Yeah, man, it's honestly probably one of my favorite songs we've made so far.
Well,
really hyped.
Shout out the song one more time, where people can find it, where people can find your music and some of your shows upcoming.
So if you search up Mat Trewhit,
can you spell Trewhit real quick? Yeah. So M-A-T, just one T on Matt. And then Trewhit is Trewhit. It's like, Trey Wit for those who are just listening.
I don't know. Yeah. So, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me anywhere. If you just Google Mat Trewhit, I'll come up, like Spotify, all the platforms. Look up A Storm Coming. Yeah, man. That's about it.
Tight, dude. And any upcoming shows other than the ice cream truck one, or?
No. So we were playing September 4th, Sunwa Rooftop in Vancouver. No, Rebecca and I, we got a gig coming up for Vancouver Film Festival in October.
Tight.
We're trying to get some sync opportunities for one of our tracks, Stay, that we did earlier this year. But otherwise, no, man. Just stay tuned for new music. I got nothing coming down the pipe right now, but there's definitely going to be some stuff in the near future, especially 2022. So
hells yeah,
dude.
Stay
tuned.
Sick, man. Well, I was stoked to catch you while you were in town,
thank you
bro.
so much for having me,
yeah,
bro.
man. I'll catch you on the flip.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
Gang, gang.
Peace, people.
Peace.
Gotta divide this song with my sons other than less. Night comes, it's a silent death for your side. Bye, you wife and my ex. Sight of me, always sighting their chest. Like Siamese, I just connect with the neck. Now I'm in your home like I'm doing no flak. Mad again, deep brought the truth to the black. Like we preaching the street, I'm in tune with my God. Now who would've thought they'd threw me the rock? Lord of the flies, if you ain't holding shells and you shouldn't talk. My homie took me out shooting the Glock. If he do that for you, then you losing your top.